My man Derrick, what's going on? How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well. I appreciate you taking time out for us today, for the audience, for the brand, for the platform. Welcome to the Deaf Talks podcast, man. We're building these conversations out. We don't want to just talk to famous people or popular people only. We want to talk to the best people, man. And anytime I come across someone who's all as authentic as you are, the real dreamers, the real believers, the creatives, like people who are doing these real things. Like, do you not know this person is sitting right up under your nose? Like, do you not know?
Right.
So connecting with you, man. I'm excited to have this conversation. I'm excited about these questions. Welcome to the Deaf Talks podcast, man.
I appreciate you having me, sir.
It's gonna be good.
As they say, I'm happy to be here.
Now, don't you get started. Like we just press record, and here you go, man. It's gonna be really, really good. I know if the people see, I already do. I know if the people listen and not just hear, man, they're going to be able to turn some things around. We have our questions set up. We have our guidance, our platform, the way we go. Is there any way before we jump into these questions, Derrick Jones, healing journey coach, you help people heal first, then bridge into dating and relationships. I like this thing that you said. It says, you need to heal. Why not do it
Right.
now? Why not do
Right.
it today?
Right.
That is. I don't want to steal from the questions, but is there any way you would like to say hello to the people and introduce yourself to them?
Well, my name is Derrick Jones. I'm affectionately known as Coach Derrick. It took me a long time to accept that moniker of coach because when you first start out, you kind of like, and you almost psych yourself out like, do I even deserve this title? Because you haven't really gotten enough skin in the game.
Yeah.
But I am Coach Derrick, and I'm what I call a healing journey coach. It's a culmination of certifications, but I wanted the ear of the public to kind of know where I land. So I have, healing and emotional intelligence certificate. So I have all of these things, but I was like, what would the public gravitate more towards? So it's a culmination of things. I'm also a certified relationship coach, and that's why I say the bridge, because the relationship coaching was amazing. I'm great at it, but I realized that a lot of people were still repeating the same patterns, and that made me think like, if they're not going to if they're taking in the great information but they're not applying it because something else is kind of going on underneath, then I'm doing them a disservice of just telling them what questions to ask on a date. Or this is where I was like, there's something else that's making them attached. There's something else that's what is that? And so I started doing a deep dive, not just for them but for myself. Like, I'm looking at my own history and I'm like, would I have listened to this advice when I was all gas and no brakes out there just trying to find somebody to make me feel better? And I'm like, wait, healing. I've done several healing journeys. I know what this is. And so I started really digging deep into the information. But my claim to fame is that I am a very good translator of technical things into layman's. I do it with my profession as an IT professional, to be able to translate that information so that it's digestible by most people instead of a small segment of society. So I healing journey coach, relationship coach, I bridge the two, because once you start to do the healing journey and you get the boundaries and all this other stuff layered on top of the more healed version of you, now we got to teach you how to date better. I don't do the cart before the horse. If you come to me and I know that you got some things to work on, sometimes I'll say, hey, not me, therapy. Hey, not me. But the things that I can handle, I'm very good at picking out like who some people just need a little shift. And then you let them go and they're good. So what I do is, if you come to me and say, hey, I need to date, blah, 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 and this is what I've been going through. Wait. There's something else. We got to go through. We got to start you on a healing journey. Don't date anybody. Until I release you. We not ready for that yet. I know what you came for. You excited. You want to know how to find people, but you got to find yourself first. That's where I start and stop. When they get mad, people get upset with me because they're like, but can I just, nope, no DMs,
no, you can't.
No dating apps, shut it all down until we get your vision back to where it's supposed to be. And then the magic that happens is that a lot of the issues that they came for, once you get to that root and you uproot that, they solve their own problems. Like all the stuff they came complaining about, they'd be like, "This is why." Okay. And then when they go out dating, not only do they have better awareness of self, you
Yeah.
add on some tools that I give you from dating, and now you're a superhero. Now it doesn't, and I always tell them it doesn't mean that you're going to find your person, but
Come
being
on.
a better version of yourself is the win anyway. So it's a win-win no matter what. So yeah, so that's what I do. I've landed there and I'm staying there. So the healing journey part is like 90% of my business, and then 10% we can talk about. I got that too, but
Yeah.
we got to get the main thing. So that's kind of where I landed, and I love it. The transition from relationship coach to healing journey coach almost happened organically, like I didn't see it
Mm,
coming, and now it's here, and
mm.
I'm like, this is where I fit.
Coach Derrick, I asked this man to introduce himself, and he did just that. Like if that, and this is why I'll set people up, but we not stealing people's thunder over here. And also, I love for people to big themselves up. Like I love for people to talk their talk. No, well, no, you be man. Look, humble ain't here. Humble is not here. We have to be
Yeah,
intentional. We have to do these things. You have never seen a firefighter humbly kick in a door to go save somebody's life.
right,
I don't care
right,
nothing about your framing,
right.
your framework. You pick this color out. I'm here to do a job.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that
Yeah,
okay.
and
I
so
okay.
so so and I never even said what the brand name of it. So because I you see how passionate I get about it. So I
Yeah, yeah.
so
Oh, we gonna cook.
so I originally, as a relationship coach, I had this name that I thought was just this amazing kind of analogy. It was called relationship gumbo, and it's all everybody has their own kind of ingredients, and then we kind
Yeah.
of mix it up. And so once I realized that that moniker of relationship coach just didn't fit anymore, that gave birth to Sit Down and Heal, which
Yeah.
which was born from my own story. I had to stop the behavior. I had to detox and sit still before I could
Mm,
even start to work on myself. So Sit Down and Heal just fit and now I say it with my full chest.
yeah.
Stop. I told him I'm gonna make a t-shirt that say stop it. Whatever you could stop, just stop and think for a minute,
I just
and then
need
we can start to grow from that. And so yeah, Sit Down and Heal is the brand, and I'm putting 10 toes down on it. We gotta sit down and think before we can move.
I love it. They going I just need some chords in the back. Every time you talk, I know what I hear. You ain't about to I don't care what you say. I just need some chords in the back every time you hit it. Um man, I let's okay. With that, we jump right into question number 1.
All right, let's go.
What are you building right now, and why does it personally matter to you?
So great question. What I'm building right now, just to piggyback on what I just said, is
Yep.
is it's identifying that a healing journey needs to start, right? And this is
Mhm.
why what you said about the phrase, the moniker that I have about, you need to heal, let me show you how, or let me teach
Yeah.
you how, because most of us know we need to, but we don't have the tools of the how. And that's a deficit of information for a lot of us, right? And so what we
Mm.
tend to do is we just tend to say, I'm working on myself, but you don't have a plan, you don't have any tools, because who would you have gotten it from, right? Not our parents, right?
No.
Probably not our
No.
friend group. So I am building a platform. You're gonna have to give me about 2 minutes at least on
No,
this,
no,
right?
because
Or
this is why you
three.
said all gas, no brakes. And I'm like, man, you got some good stuff. But yeah, go ahead.
So let me tell you when you say building, that's a great term to use for an engineer, right? So let me tell you what I'm building. I looked at the space, right? Mental health, therapy, coaching, healing, and why the healing isn't present in a lot of dating advice, right? Because a
Hmm.
lot of dating coaches and relationship coaches I've run by many, they said, Derrick, what you do, I would never touch it. It's too much.
Wow.
So so I knew that there was a deficit for that, right? And I'm not saying I'm the only one, but what I
Sure,
decided to
sure.
do out of necessity, because of how my schedule is because I tend to be more sensitive and empathic when I'm helping people. I absorb a lot of stuff, right? As we all do when we do this type of work. So what I did was with my analytical brain is I cataloged out of all of the clients that I had, what are the things that most people come for? What are the
Yeah.
things that I'm telling the same information to many people? And so I created workshops around the highest things that most people came for,
Yeah.
recorded the workshop, and then I resell it as part of your healing journey package.
Mm.
Because we're on this planet, most of us are going to deal with a lot of similar things.
Yeah.
So instead of you sitting on the phone with me every week, you go get that information because I'll do an assessment to see
Yeah.
what you need. But instead of talking about the ex and the narcissist and all of the, oh my God, I went through this, I'm sending you straight down to the root.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to work on the shadow work. We're going to work on all of the things that's going to uproot all of the why.
Yeah.
And then it changes all those negative experiences. They flip because you start to change it to more positive. And then once you start having more positive interactions, more positive relationship with the world,
Come on.
all the stuff, the complaints, they just come down. So now I'm going to send you to my workshop system. If I
Mm-hmm.
need a phone call, we can do that. But I need you to get the source material for the foundation first.
Yeah.
Then we can talk about all the
Yeah.
minutia at the top. And what ends up happening is once they get a foundation and it's recorded, 6 months later they can come back and reignite. And so what I've done with my library of now workshops, because it
Yeah.
started off as a couple, now you know in the 20s. So now you get to, if you wanted to, a la carte. If you just broke up from a relationship, there's a breakup from a relationship one. There's a one about triggers. There's a one.
Yeah.
So now what I did, when you say building, I made all of them backwards compatible. So no matter where you start, it feeds into the next. So
Ah.
they're all going to talk about each other as
Yeah.
you matriculate through, no matter where you start, right? So
Yeah.
that's number one, is to have a system because I'm just one person. So if I wanted to,
Talk your systems talk.
instead of talking one on one all the time for everyone, if 1,000 people came tomorrow, I could feed them in my system to get the foundation, and I wouldn't even feel it. I can go to sleep.
This is what I'm gonna say. When I ask you, what are you building? That's what I mean.
Yeah.
That's
So
that's 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 what I mean. And I've asked a lot of people this question on the podcast. And no shade. Y'all answered it really well. You just didn't answer it like Derrick. You
so
just didn't
so
answer it like you really went into the inner workings of like, oh, well, I'm building something to help people and they'll have the opportunity to do that. And again, we're not taking away from any of that. That was
mhm,
great. But there are a lot of people who have been told things but not shown things.
right,
And
right,
and
right,
sounds good, don't feel good. Sounds
right,
good, no tangible, measurable growth or change or things to actually put inside of my toolbox and walk away. And like you said, your words, revert back and be
right.
able to compare and contrast. Like you can source it. Like, oh, I know where this comes from. This connects to that. So when I ask, what are you building on the Deaf Talks podcast? This is what I mean.
So there's
This
a
is what I
second part,
mean.
right? There's a
Yeah.
second part, a very tiny but bigger second part. The healing journey, because also what I would call a community builder. The healing journey in an individual, once they reach that point of enlightenment, once they realize the path that they need to be on,
Mm-hmm.
even if they veer off the path, which a lot of us do, they have a system to come back to, right?
Yeah.
So now once that person gets to that point, my theory is that they then become the model for the environment around them, and they may catch some strays just because they're a renewed person. They're gonna their family, their kids, right? And I always tell people your healing journey becomes a model for your kids, even if your kids are 35. They get to see something different.
Mm.
So let's say that one or two people in your environment in your life says, "I need to heal too."
Ooh.
Now the growth is exponential
Yeah.
because then they become the person that kind of becomes a model for their environment. And so now you start to talk about community healing
Mm-hmm.
from that single source, From one person becomes two, two becomes five. And so whoever I can catch, I can catch. But if I get that one testimony, I know that person ain't gonna shut up about it.
Come
They're
on.
not gonna shut up about it because they're a different, renewed person. And people who walk with a light about them,
Yeah.
it attracts, right? And people want to you're going to walk a path that's going to attract like-minded people,
Yep.
and some of those people just needed
A little
a little
spark.
spark, so that now they're like, I don't know what you did, but I want that. And it doesn't mean they come back to me, but they know that they need more. That's
That
where it starts.
Yeah, yeah, 100%. And you said something really key there, which is why I got excited. I tell people all the time, I don't need to be the reason or the person that helped you heal as long as you get it. If my job is to do the whole thing from top to bottom, from left to right, cool, we did it. But if my job is just to spark or point you in the right
Yeah,
direction or get you connected,
yeah,
I want you to heal.
yeah.
I want you to heal. Question number 2, Derrick.
Let's go.
What decisions or shifts had the biggest impact on getting you to where you are today? Now, you gave us a little backstory, and
Oh, I
there's
got
some
to
things
answer.
that
I'm ready
you
for all your questions, and I
there,
don't even know them.
there's some things people go poking around on the podcast. I'm like, man, don't you can look at it for context, but don't go sitting there doing the homework on the questions now. Like
Nah,
let's rock.
nah.
What decisions or shifts had the biggest impact on getting you to where you are today?
So there was one pivotal moment where I knew that I wanted to do this type of work. I just
Mm-hmm.
didn't. So before Sit Down and Heal, there's at least two other brands that I started, right? And
Wow. Yeah.
the first brand was me doing things that would be more like physical, like the guy, what's his name?
Mm.
Pastor Todd
Mike
something.
Todd.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he uses a lot of visual stuff,
Yeah, yeah.
right? And analogies.
Like props and yeah.
Yeah. So
Illustrations.
my props were, I did a lot of analogies based on like playing cards because it's something that I could carry everywhere. So you had like the suit color, and
Yeah.
if I had two decks, one deck had a red back, another deck, so I could build all of these analogies, and I called it card logic, right? I did
Mm.
this, and it's a real short. So I did this, and it was amazing. It was a horrible elevator pitch, though, right?
Wow.
And you
Okay.
because you had to explain people that you wasn't teaching poker and whatever, right? But
Yeah.
in my mind, I was like, this will help people who are visual learners really get
For sure.
the coaching, right?
For sure.
And so I got the opportunity through this to go to uh, record a commercial through a major cable provider,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And they were going to put it on their, channel business owners or whatever. So I went in there, I did my thing, I showed them how it worked. Card logic, come get it.
Yeah.
Wrapped the filming. They came back 2 days later and said, "We don't understand this, so we're not going to put our logos behind you on that step and repeat banner.
Yeah.
We can't do none of that. We don't get it, and it's not what we trying to put our whatever behind."
Yeah.
At that point, my mind was, if these big wigs say that it's not good, if they say that it's not going to work,
Mm-hmm.
why would I think, with my little experience, why would I think that this would work?
Mm.
Should I give up? Should I stop? Because I'm not going to be successful if this is where the path I'm trying to go, and they're saying
Yeah.
no.
Yeah.
When I tell you, hurt, because I thought I'm out here with all these other business owners, I'm just as good or better,
Yeah.
and they was like, we don't understand where do we put it? They wanted to put me in the same category as like a tarot card reader.
Oh no, that's not.
And I was like, that's not what I do.
Yeah, it's
so
not even
they
close.
so they literally shut me down. They did not air me, right? After all the pomp and circumstance, right? So at that point, I had to make a decision. should I quit
Wow.
based on what I thought was getting towards the end game of what I thought my success would be, or do I just keep moving? And so I made a decision at that point because I believed that this path
Was
was
for you.
purposeful for me. It was a purpose for me. So even in wanting to quit, it still was like, wait, you're helping people. Wait. And I'm like, but I'm an introvert. I could just be in the back like I normally am. It's no
Yeah.
problem. Like I could just go back to what I know and just go to work and go in a cubicle and just, and something in me said, don't stop. But I
Mm.
had to rethink the brand. How do I continue this work, but have a better elevator pitch? I'm thinking podcast, but I'm like, wait, podcast is audio. They won't see the cards. So I put the cards down, and that's when I started getting certified to coach. I started
Yep.
a podcast. I created a brand new brand around who I was going to become. And then that then matriculated into kind of where I am now. But
Yeah.
that point, that pivotal point,
That's where it
I
happened.
was at 99%. I was about to shut it down and not ever go back.
Wow.
Because I already had a career as an IT person. I could
Yeah.
just go ahead and toe the
Fall back on
line.
that.
But that my heart and my passion and the purpose was like, you have a voice. Like you have to get this off because there's something special about not just your intellect, but how you deliver, how people. Because what I do is I talk to people, but I want to help people feel the emotion, the passion. I want you to live the experience with me so that we can
Yeah.
take that moment where we connect and we grow from there. So that isn't easily done. Because like I always tell people, you can get all the certifications you want. None of them
Mm.
teach you how to relate to people. You got to figure that out on your own. Like you can go to learn how to speak,
Yep.
motivational speaking.
Yep. Yep.
But that ties when you're actually like helping people in real time,
Yep.
you're gonna have to get that out the mud. It's gonna be a
That's an
lot of
art.
trial and
Yeah.
error. And that life coaching certificate, that's not part of the curriculum, right? There's some
Right.
people, I want to be a coach like you. I'm like, wait, there's a part that you're gonna have to hone in. You can't do this what I do just sitting in a corner, like how I
Right.
used to. I mean, it's a lot of introverts that want to be in the front. And I'm like, there's a lot of steps in between. That stage fright is gonna be on you
Mm-hmm.
all the time. You're gonna have to come out and really connect with people and absorb them and then have
Mm.
a way to purge it.
Yep.
It you know this. You can't just this is not for the weak. You gotta love what you do,
This
or
is true.
you gonna take yourself out trying to help other people.
Yeah. It'll exhaust you, man. I heard you talking about, you the way that you do it and how special it is. And just adding on to that, because you're special. Because you're Derrick Jones. Like, do you have an application? Do you have a modality? Do you have a way that you do things? Absolutely. But before all that, but also in inclusion with it, it's because Derrick Jones is special. Like
Yeah, yeah.
that's why. What do people, if anything,
hmm
if anything, what might people misunderstand most about your journey or the work that you do?
I think a lot of times because like a lot of us have come through corporate America. Um, I tend to take very seriously like the branding, the appearance,
Mm-hmm.
the lighting, the camera, and they think that that means that I am without error, right?
Mm-hmm.
Personally, they think, oh, he got it together. He's a coach now. He knows
Yeah.
everything. They always say what do they say? When I was relationship coaching, they would say you're a relationship guru. And I'm like, wait, guru? No.
No, no, I'm still human. I'm
Wait.
still human.
So they think that they think that I have it together because through parentage, through being in corporate America so long, you're trained to be cognizant of how you're perceived from people. And
Absolutely.
so that's something that I've had to relax a little bit sometimes because I'm the PowerPoint presentation,
Yeah,
the
yeah. All
statistics.
of that.
And my wife told me years ago, she said, Derrick, you're doing a lot. And your show is at 8 p.m. People getting
Mm,
off of work. They brains not trying to process these spreadsheets and charts you putting on the thing. Because
yeah,
when I tell you I had before everybody was doing all this live streaming, I'm researching like how do you put a thing on the camera? And then
yep,
this was like 2015, 2016. I'm doing all of this, and my wife was like, they just want to hear your voice.
yeah.
Like you're gonna have to come to the middle because all of that IT training doesn't
Mm-hmm.
translate to the nurse that just got off her shift and she just trying to get something from you to grab
Oh,
onto.
shout
So
out
I
to the
was like,
wives,
yeah,
man.
like I was the guy who would show up to this interview with an outline of what I'm gonna talk about. And I went on one, and I'll say this real quick. I went on this one interview. One of my friends, she had like a internet radio show, like big production, the whole the
Serious,
build
real
out and
deal.
all of this, right? So I'm up there and I got my outline of everything I'm gonna talk about. And she was like, Derrick,
What's
what's that
that?
for? What is that? And I said, this is all the stuff I'm gonna cover when we do the interview. And she was like, let me ask you a question. Is what I'm gonna say to you on that paper?
Right.
And she said, all the stuff you're talking on the paper, do you know this? Like in your head, do you know this? And I said, yeah, I know all of it. And she was like, then throw the damn paper away, please.
Yeah,
Just throw it
like what
away,
is
throw
that
the
here
paper
for?
away, and let's talk. Let's just talk, and it will happen organically. And that was the moment where I was like, I'm taking myself too seriously. I need to be myself. Here's the
Yeah.
lesson. I spent my life being what everybody else
Talk about
thought
it.
I should be.
Talk about it.
It was unnatural for me to just let
Just
my hair
be.
down
Yeah. For
and,
y'all that's
and,
listening,
and,
okay,
and just
see.
be Derrick.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
had to
just be
learn who
there.
Derrick was, even as a coach. I'm learning on the job training. I'm like, you can be yourself now. You
Literally.
you could really, and that's when I started. This is when I started really starting to get clients for real
Yeah.
because they connected with me just being a regular guy who just happens to have this platform, but they still get to see that I'm human and
Yeah.
I'm not trying to teach you from a place of I'm here and you're here. Yes, I've been through some stuff too, and they're like, "Whoa, you? Yes, me." And
Yes.
then they kind of come in and say, "Okay, I feel comfortable with you." Like for me, a lot of people that have come to me, I was the bridge for them to go get therapy. They didn't even pay me $1. I'm just like,
Mm,
"You feel comfortable with me, but this is right here. You're not ready. You're gonna have to go do that
yeah.
too or first."
Yep.
Because I'm very, and the reason why I'm like this, because a lot of people would just take your money. Like, let's just do it to keep talking on the phone
Yeah.
when that person
No.
really needs to go somewhere else. But I'm also a very good steward of my own bandwidth and what I can handle.
A hundred
And so
percent.
when it starts to feel like it's in an area, I'll be like, wait, I don't do that.
Yeah.
I can't, I will make you worse, probably. I don't know. We gotta,
But
I'm gonna have to move you.
that's what makes you a professional though. Like
Yeah,
that's what makes you a professional. Like you like a lot of people will grandstand and try to do everything, but again, that's where that comes in. I don't have to be the reason. I really want you to be happy, healthy, and whole.
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah,
so all this stuff, like I can rock and roll with, I can kill. But
yeah,
hey, that's not my lane. And
yeah,
and and I have the wherewithal and the intelligence and the professionalism enough to say, hey, that's not my lane. This is what I would advise to you. So um that is rich, man. That is rich to where people can finally and not just be yourself, but be what's necessary and
mhm,
the best version of yourself. And I think how you came to that interview with your notebook, I think a lot of people miss out on things or create these worlds or environments that don't exist by taking this metaphorical notepad around
yep,
with them. Like
yep,
I'm gonna take my notepad on my first date. I'm gonna take my notepad to this new city I moved to. I'm gonna take this notepad and I'm gonna be prepared for everything. Like and I'm gonna go through everything on this paper. And it is understanding that there are two parts to us. It's understanding that there are two parts to us: the healthy part, the unhealthy part, the healthy part, the traumatized part. And both parts want what they want for the reasons they want it. And in the
hmm
world of the trauma and the unhealthiness, it is right to itself. Like you can't convince that trauma that you don't need to prove everybody wrong. You can't
right,
convince to that trauma that you will not. All these things.
yeah,
And on the healthy side, you can't convince that health that you do need to keep that relationship with your mom, or you do need to keep that job. Your health is
Right.
like, no, the hell
Yeah.
you don't. Like, we
Yeah.
good. Like, we
Yeah.
so people walk around with this path, like, when I get into the relationship, these are all the things I'm going to cover and focus on.
Yeah.
Or you could just let the relationship be the relationship and learn what you're
Right.
supposed to learn, and
Right.
let it be necessary and all the things. Because what we'll do is we'll go to our mental and emotional whiteboard, and we will
Hmm.
create the best plan, we say, but really it's the best plan to you, and you don't even know what
Right.
to you version it's the best of or best to. So
Yeah.
now
Yeah.
you got this plan. You ain't did no diagnostics, you ain't took no surveys, you ain't got out in the field, you have no experience. So now you're out there like, why isn't this working? There are no good women out there, there's no good guys, I can never do this job, I can never build this vision. And it's like, you built that in a world
Yeah.
of one where you were judge, jury, and executioner, and you ain't run that through no systems or nothing. You just was like, this is it.
Yeah.
And you go
Yeah.
out there, and you try to have the relationship the way you imagined it in your mind. You try to build that business. You try to heal that way. You try to, set these boundaries. Like, why isn't this working?
Yeah.
Because you didn't create a plan. You created a wall. You created
Yep.
a safety mechanism, a new crutch. And your brain does not at all, in any way, shape, form, or fashion, give a damn about the way that you feel. It doesn't care. Your brain doesn't care about you. And a lot of people be like, oh, well, it's my brain. Yeah, your brain doesn't care about you. It doesn't care
Right.
about your happiness. It doesn't care about your dismay. It doesn't care about your success. It doesn't care about your failures. All it cares about
Hmm.
is its comfort. And
Yep.
whatever way you have groomed it to be comfortable, whatever toxicity you have groomed it with, the comb of toxicity, the brush of depression, all these things, however you groomed it, that's what it's going to
Hmm.
desire. That's where those dominant neural pathways come in, that hard wiring, to where it's like, I want this. So you think you're fighting against people, places, and things, and you're really fighting against your own brain.
Yeah.
You're
Very
really
true.
fighting against your
Very
your
true.
own brain. Your brain, like, wait, we don't make healthy decisions. We don't speak up for ourselves. We don't stay quiet when we need to. We lash out, and we create this commotion. So these things that you're talking about, Coach, are so prevalent, and they're so vital. And if people wouldn't just apply them to their life, but knew
Hmm.
where to apply them to your life. Like you're talking about, like, hey, no, we're going to wait on that. No, we're not going to do these date nap. No, we're going to
Yeah.
do this. Like, these things are very instrumental in the process. Speaking about what it is people have to do and how they have to apply, I'll swing the question back around to you. Who did you have to become for your goals, ideas, or visions to actually work?
So I alluded to this a little bit ago, but I had to become a person that is unapologetic about who I am.
My favorite.
And I had to understand that I did not know who I was. Right.
Wow.
So the realization of just, and I'm always talking about kind of sitting down and making an assessment of like when you ask people who they are, they can't really answer it fully, right? Like they know who they've created to function in the world.
Yeah.
But like, who are you? I had to tap into the who am I and be unapologetic because in the 80s, smart wasn't cool. Nerd wasn't cool.
Man, sure
That
wasn't.
was so I had to pretend I wasn't, right? I
Wow.
had to take a career path that I wasn't necessarily passionate about, but that's what people expected of me. He's smart. He should be an engineer. Like, it's a no-brainer. He does math. Like, wait, yeah, okay, I'll do that. Yeah, I'll make some money. I'll pay some. But at my heart, I didn't realize that until probably decades later. Like, wait, I'm not really happy with this. I'm
Yeah.
functioning though. I function. I'm the functioning person. I'm the,
Yeah.
we're gonna wear the shirt with the collar and we're gonna make sure that we show up and we're gonna
Mm,
do so so
talk about it.
so I had to realize that there was a beauty in just me being organically me. Thank goodness nerds are cool now, because now I'm in
Man,
my bag, right?
yeah, yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
So, so I had to really take that mask off in order for me to become this version of me that's able to help people, that's able to be in front of the camera and not be scared. I'm me on camera now. I'm not
Yeah. And
I'm
it
not who I
shows
was
super
who I was
comfortable.
who I was groomed to be. Because it's like if you look at my on one side of my family, we like cookie cutter polo shirt, khaki
Paint by
pants.
numbers.
You
Yeah.
want to do? And we went through the check. And my grandmother was like, whenever you leave the house, you gotta, you're representing me, so you gotta make sure that y'all. And we
Oh, man.
all be, and that's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
But you start to build clones. There's no creativity there. There's no voice. You got to toe the line. I'm the toe the line. A lot of us toe the line until we hopefully will. Because you see a lot of people over 40, they like, I always wanted to be a beautician, but I'm an elementary school teacher, and this was my dream, and I just had to. And now they're starting these businesses at 45, and you can see the joy. And it's like,
Where's this been? Where
yeah,
this looks good on you. It feels good. It looks natural. It looks healthy. Yeah.
yeah. And
Yeah.
I think that maybe starting with Gen X was probably the first generation that was like, we don't have to do
No.
we don't have to do that. Now you go lower down, millennials and like Gen Z, they like what we
L-
gonna
l-
do? Yeah.
hey,
So
built
it's
different, cut different.
yeah,
You could
yeah.
try. You could
So
try us if you want to.
yeah, so that was for me. It was the answer to the question is I had to learn who I was in order for me to run this type of business.
Yeah.
Even though I have a system, I'm the heartbeat of the system. In order for me to be that, I had to be really authentic instead of this paint by numbers coach. I couldn't do that and serve the people in the way that I feel I was meant to be purposely. Like the design of how I culminated into having this knowledge and having these experiences and good, bad, and different. All of that culminated into this, and that happened for a reason. And then that then becomes the soul of the Sit Down and Heal brand. So without me having the revelation that I needed to do the soul searching, it wouldn't be
Mm,
that. It'd be a whole bunch of PowerPoint slides. It'd be a whole bunch of cold, you know, come to my Calendly thing and click the thing and we'll talk and then we'll talk again next week and I'm like, no, wait, growth. We need growth. Cause no shade to any profession, but I run into
no,
people
talk
that's like,
about it. No,
I've
talk
been I've
about it.
been in therapy for 5 years and I'm like, okay, so there's no growth after like no growth. I'm just gonna keep going. And I'm like, so you still behaving the same way after 5 years? There's something else that you're gonna have to garner or get, right? So a
Yeah.
lot of times when people come to me after being in therapy all of those years, they have a baseline of knowledge, but they don't have life application of how it works in
Yeah.
dating, in relation. That's why I say I'm the bridge. Like I'll take that football and I'll run with it because I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
so now
We'll
that you
get into
got
the end
that,
zone.
let's put some more layers on the top. I know what it feels emotionally to be afraid to go meet somebody. I know what it feels like to be an introvert or somebody that's used to shrinking themselves and then you still want to date. You're going to have to figure out ways to manage and regulate that in order for you to honestly meet people, or you're going to go in what I call a pre-shrinker. You're going to automatically shrink in conflict and you don't even know what's going to happen because this is what you're
That's
used
that
to.
notebook showing up again.
Yeah, yeah. And so we got to get that off of how you lead yourself, or the wolves are always going to find you. And so these are the areas where a
Cook.
lot of therapy, this is not that they're not relationship dating app figuring out how to maneuver. So I take that ball and I'll say, okay, you say you're ready to date because you've been in therapy for 5 years. So you ask them a couple questions, you realize those abandonment wounds are still on the forefront. And I'm like,
Yeah.
it's still there. You may know they can tell you the terminology better than any psychologist or psycho. They could tell you what it is.
Come on.
But I'm like, you still behaving the same way. I could see it in 5 minutes. If I could see it in 5 minutes, guess what the predatory daters go? They gonna find you first. So we got to do some more work that depends on what you've already gone through, because those 5 years may have helped you in an area. It may have, but it's not helping you perform outside. And that's how people come to me. It's like, where are you emotionally? Where are you rooted to where you can effectively date? And a lot of them, I'll tell them, you're not ready. Don't even get in the dating pool, because you're the P that they talk about. You're tainting it too.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Don't even get
A traumatized,
you the P that they talk about.
A needy you, a person that's looking to not feel abandoned. You're also, they don't see themselves this way, but you're also tainting the pool.
Man.
Yeah.
And here's the dynamic of it. Here's the honest layout. And like you said, no shade, because I know therapists, psychotherapists, clinician, like, who move mountains, like, who stop people from committing suicide, who stop people from getting a divorce, or like you got some therapists that do it, some like licensed professionals. A lot of people ask, well, Elijah, what do you do? Isn't that? I have a PhD in Christian counseling with a foundation in human psychology and behavior, and I got every certification under the sun. And my goal wasn't to go become licensed more than it was to become educated to build a thing and help a people.
Right.
Like, people had a goal to be a licensed clinical counselor, a clinical therapist. That was the goal. So a lot of people say, you're not this or you're not that. That wasn't my goal.
Right.
Because you have people who are social workers who have training, but that doesn't mean they have the education for this, or have that doctorate, or have that. And that doesn't make them any less or anything.
Right.
It is being honest and professional about the lane that you're in. So this is not to take away from anyone or to take away from anything. But my point here is therapy and things of that nature is a science.
Right.
It's not motivational speaking. It's not inspirational speaking. It's not coaching. It is not even, here we go, experience. It is, the book says this, the terminology says this, it says this, and there are some things that you need that precision and that professionalism and that application on. And then there are some things to where you're like, that science isn't going to help me here, because this isn't that.
Yeah.
I don't know if you ever, I don't know if it was called Moneyball or baseball. I forget, but it was a baseball movie, and their goal was to win it all, to win the World Series, win all the games, the championships, everything by numbers. Like to look at the statistics and, oh, this player does that and this player does that. So we're not going to do talent, but we're just going to match the numbers up with the numbers. You know, men lie, women lie, numbers don't. Yeah, numbers don't lie, but numbers also don't apply everywhere.
Right.
And there's some things to where you need that curation, that tailor-made, that this, because I've applied my education in areas to where, hey, it worked just how it's supposed to work, just how the equation is laid out.
Yeah.
And then there's times that I've actually had to relate to the person sitting in front of me and really do a special curated body of work.
Right.
That's not for everything, but neither is that. So you unpacking that is very vital, and I really want the listeners to hear. That this isn't to make one lane or direction better than the other. This isn't to take away from this lane or that lane. This isn't to practice or work in a way to where you should be credentialed or licensed or have a degree, or where you don't know. That's not what we're saying. What we're saying is sometimes your coach will draw up a play, and that play didn't include that surprise defense that came from the corner. Exactly. And it's like, hey, I know this says that, but I've had people, again, in my professional work, as a counselor, give me a pat on the back, give me kudos, like, oh my gosh, that was so awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And then I've also had people, and when I saw, I'm not going to be able to paint by numbers on this one. I'm not going to be able to,
Mm-hmm.
do the ABC 1, 2, 3 on this one. And I give what's needed in the moment professionally with wherewithal.
Right.
Wow, doc, I've been in therapy for 14 years, and in 60 minutes, you were able to. No, it wasn't me. It was just what it was.
Yeah.
So, last question, my favorite question, created and designed by yours truly,
Mm-hmm.
is my
Let's go.
question. Is my question. I hope you ain't been poking around and you know the question. If you had the attention of the entire world
Mm-hmm.
for 60 seconds,
Mm-hmm.
what would you tell them?
I would say, just based on how I personally experience the world, I would tell them to embrace your true self, live life abundantly in that honesty, connect with people that would naturally migrate to that realized version of yourself, and be great.
Mm,
Be great being yourself.
yeah.
Just be great being yourself and follow that. You may have to do some things you don't want to do along the way, but live in your truth. Because, and like I alluded to earlier, walking around functioning in the world wearing a mask, it's almost like a silent suffering. It shows up in every aspect of your life, whether it's work, whether it's relationships with your
Come on.
parents, lack of boundaries. Be unapologetic about, as long as you're not hurting anybody, right? Like,
Yeah.
just be authentically, and sometimes you may have to figure out who you are,
Come
right?
on.
But make that be the mission, to be able to live in that truth, which then a lot of times will lend you into, at times a more happier disposition,
Yeah.
because you don't have to mute it down anymore.
Come
That's
on.
my life. I had to learn that because that was most of my life. And I'm still, and even in me understanding that,
Hmm.
the root programming, it's still like still in there.
Yeah.
But the moments where I can truly be me is freeing. And once you live like that,
Once you
you'll
get a
get to
taste.
experience and see the world through different eyes. You'll be more empathetic of your neighbor, because you understand that they too have their own journey,
Yeah.
because you've been through yours. Without the journey, we're just robots.
60 seconds on the dot. 60 seconds on the dot. Leaving this conversation,
Hmm.
how do we connect with you to better our lives? Do we plug into a program? Do we purchase a book? Do we listen to a podcast? Do we join a community? How do we plug into you to make our lives better? Where can we find you? Derrick Jones on social media, website. How do we connect with you?
So I love that question, because I'm the system guy. So so sitdownandheal.com
Say it.
is the primary home base for everything. And what I've done, because I understand that different people come in at different levels of healing or not healing. So you can come into that one website, which will then sit down and heal on all platforms, all one word, because that's the brand. But then you get to digest me in the way that you feel most comfortable. So
Hmm.
one-on-one, you can come in, you can do a one-on-one. You can come in, and I have a package for people who know they need to heal. You get a starter package of 4 workshops. You don't have to talk to me to get that, and you're still going to get
Mm,
me. You get the option to, well, not the option, but once you get that package, when any workshops, you have the ability to communicate with me if you
yeah.
have questions along the way in real time. So it's like self-paced with a guide, but we're
Hmm.
not talking on the phone for hours. It's those little places where you're like, "Hey, coach, I made it this far. What is this supposed to mean?" And then I can answer you
Yep.
on a DM, because when you get on the phone, a lot of times they just want to dump the trauma. So it allows me to protect myself too,
Come
right? So
on.
you can do one-on-one. You can get the kind of what I call reboot yourself. system, which is 4 workshops.
Yeah.
You can also go into my full library a la carte and pick what you want. I also have a group community on the school app,
Come
Sit
on.
Down and Heal School Community. And we come in and we do group coaching once a month. And then I add in some extra materials along the way that I think that are curated for the group.
Yeah.
And then every now and then I'll throw in a master class, a members only master class. So the public has to become a member to get that master class, which is curated again for the group. So you get a lot of functionality in there. If you don't want to do the healing journey just by yourself, you need that group to kind of, be sometimes accountability and all of that. So you have multiple ways to get the coaching.
Yeah.
And I know that because I'm thinking about everybody. If you're a person that feel like you're going to be judged, get the video. If you're a person that's scared to do it by yourself, join the group. If you're a person
Mm.
that needs to talk on the phone, I will tell you, we'll talk on the phone a little bit, but I'm gonna still point you to the workshops because that's where the
Yeah.
meat is,
Yeah.
right? So no matter what your flavor is, no matter what your exception is, I have payment plans on stuff. So now what I've done, the engineering brain, is I thought about everything that you could object to and I sealed the leak. So
Yeah.
I always say, now what? It was a cost. Okay, break it into payments. Or you don't want to, you're an introvert and you will feel judged. The video can't judge you. Just play it.
Yeah.
If you got a question, I'm here. And I will say maybe 8 to 9 out of 10 of my success stories never did a one-on-one ever. Because I make the workshop so
Ooh.
intuitive and you can connect to it so much without me
That's
being there that the
crazy.
success stories happen because the genius in it is
You have a system.
when you have me as a guide, but the workshops give you most of what you need because I impart my own
Yeah.
personal journey into the work.
Yeah.
You getting me without getting me.
Mm.
But what happens once you get to a point where you can kind of do it on your own,
To,
you've did
to
the heavy
empower. The
lifting
goal is
yourself.
to empower.
Yeah, you've done the heavy lifting by yourself. You don't even realize it. You've built up a muscle without me as a crutch. So when it's time for me to release you, you're already self-sufficient because you did it yourself. You didn't sit on the phone for 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 weeks a year, depending on me to right the ship. You figured it out on your own, and now you're strong enough to go outside without me. When I tell you the people who graduated my system, they outside. Like I always tell people, when you experience the world with what if they lie,
Oh,
what if they hurt me, what if you're not going to be an effective dater, you're not going to be able to experience the world. My people, when they graduate, they become I wish you would. They're not what if they, because they know that the training, they always say, well, how do I know the trainings work? I'm scared. And I'm like, you've done the work.
yeah.
When these things come and they happen, your muscle memory gonna kick in because most
Yeah.
people watch each workshop at least a minimum of 5 times. They go
The,
back, they get renewed, they come back with different eyes, they learn something different,
yeah.
they come back 3 months later, and so they're growing without me.
The same way that muscle memory kicks in to sabotage yourself, to lie to yourself for things not to be true, because that's the brain you have and the brain you groomed.
Hmm.
Go through with Coach Derrick Jones, rewire that. And if life or anything wants to happen, that muscle memory on the other side now kicks in. No, I know what
Exactly.
I know.
Exactly.
Coach,
I thought I look when I tell you, and it's highly obsessive. I all overthink their process. I think of it if you're 25 and I think of it as you're 85. Like if you go to my website, the buttons are really big. You can't say you couldn't find something on my site. I'm overthinking how you even engage the
yeah.
workshops.
Well,
How
I got to
how would
work
a
too hard
person
to
who
find it,
doesn't
so
know
I'm going to give
anything,
up. Yeah.
how would they get this? Is it too technical? Is it not technical enough? I'm overthinking all of that. And so when I put the product out, I wish you would tell me you didn't understand it. It may be like 1 or 2 people on the planet Earth. I make it dummy proof.
Yeah.
So the only reason why you don't get it is because you didn't engage in it. Those who have engaged
Intentionality.
and really took it seriously, I don't have complaints. And here's the last part I want to make. The reason why I can say this, because a lot of people will say, well, everybody's healing journey is different. How can you just put everybody in the system and everybody's different? Let me tell you
Talk them.
where the other genius is in this. I don't anticipate what your entire healing journey is. What I focus on are things that everyone needs, no matter what your healing journey. So
Come on.
pattern
It's a
recognition,
real
everybody
thing.
needs that, right? Looking at what your possible childhood wounds are that created whatever the thing is, everybody needs that.
Yep.
How to manage yourself when you get triggered, everybody needs that. So
Yep.
no matter who you are, at least that foundational package, there's not a human being on the planet that don't need to look at and then make an assessment of themselves. So that's what I make the core of what I do. So no matter what happens at the end, that foundation you can keep coming back to handle that. So now you can't. Now what? Like I'm always saying, like now I've thought about everything. You can't say, well, that don't apply to me. Yes, it do. Because if you come into coaching, that means you got an issue that you want to work on.
You ain't just here for nothing.
Learn how to make an assessment. That's the first course. Make an assessment of yourself. Look at your patterns. Okay, now we got the patterns. Now we got to see what caused them. And then we go through step by step. I don't care what you've been through, you got to do that. That's why I don't need to be on the phone with you for 10 weeks. Go handle the pattern recognition, the childhood work, the attachment styles, and all of these things. And you will see that you will understand yourself in a way that you'll solve your own issue. You'll be like, Derrick, you know what? I wanted to talk to you about this, but I don't even care about it anymore. I understand. That's the magic. So let me say this real quick and let me get off here because
you cooking.
Yeah, so this is how my approach, right? This is how I help people understand. It's a 3-tiered system. First tier, complaints. This is what you come to coaching. This is, I got a problem. My ex, my this, right? Second tier is the negative experiences that caused you to complain. The bottom tier is all the stuff you never worked on. This is where the healing journey is. This is where the childhood trauma is. This is where the relationship stuff is at the bottom. You never worked on it. That created the negative experiences, which created the complaints where you come into coaching. I need a one-on-one. I need to talk about, hold on. Thank you for the preliminary information. We're skipping step 2. I don't need to know none of that. We're going to reboot you from the bottom. Just trust me. We're going to reboot the bottom. We're going to learn how to recognize the patterns. We're going to unearth everything. You're going to become more aware of yourself. Once you do enough work, the second tier starts to fundamentally change. Now you start to have more positive experiences because you're different and you're moving different and you're not letting anybody play in your face. You're going to leave on time instead of staying too long.
Yeah.
Once you start having more positive interactions because you're more positive internally, then the complaint tier disappears. I didn't have to hear you trauma dump for 4 weeks. We just needed to handle the root. That's my program. Root first. And the rest of the stuff, if there's any stuff left, we could talk about that now, but it's not hours.
It ain't going to be, it ain't going to be that.
Because if we sit on those for hours, guess what's going to happen to me after I do 10 or 15 of them in a week?
Exhausted.
I'm going to be passed out somewhere. So part of the system is for me.
Yeah. Yeah. and not just for you, but intentional, because a lot of people will try to suck you into their vortex of no action taking, no growth. No, I just want to keep feeling my feelings with my feelings on my feet. And there's a time and a space for that.
Yeah.
So if you want your hand held, Coach Derrick is not the one for you.
Because here's the thing. I didn't say you wasn't ever going to get a one-on-one.
Yeah. But
if you never buy into the initial foundation system, that helps me vet who's serious and who's not.
Because some people just want to be warmed by the fire. They are not trying to create their own.
Yep.
If you want your hand held, Coach Derrick Jones is not the one for you.
You purchase my system and you don't come back for 6 months. I'm not going, hey, where did you go? Did you want to come back and get no?
That's not happening.
Oh, I got
But if you want to be empowered, sitdownandheal.com.
Absolutely.
Sitdownandheal.com. Coach, I can't thank you enough. I know the listeners. I know the viewers. I know they're walking away with good stuff. You can't convince me that they're not. Thank you so much for being such a vital and healthy conversation on Def Talks podcast, man. The foundation and the core of Def Collective, man. This is what it's about. These conversations, these mindsets, and things that are actually moving and changing in real life. Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you for having me.